Had a big comeback win, 7 in a row now, 8-1 since I did the game in London, so I'm taking total credit for their run.
7-0 since Grimace.
Does this change your opinion at all about breaking the team up?
100%. Well, first of all, when I said breaking the team up, I just said you should listen. And I still think to a certain extent, Michael, if offers start coming in for some of your free agents, you should always be listening and look at the broad picture. But the Giants just lost today to the Cubs. So the Mets could actually pass the Giants with a victory tonight.
Yep.
So
they've jumped over everybody.
So even though they're only 2 games above under 500 and still would be under 500 with a win tonight, the standings say otherwise. So all I said was that you should listen, but I also said to you, Michael, last week, show me something. Well, they've certainly shown me something. They come from behind victories, winning 7 in a row.
And it's not bad teams. The Padres are right in the Mets, realm. And so are the Rangers.
Well, I found it interesting when people were saying, look at their schedule. Well, at the time, the Rangers had a better record than the Mets. The Padres had a better record than the Mets. I mean, but you start winning some games, you start passing these teams, and now you take a look at the wild card race with the Giants losing. The Mets have 37 losses, and the Giants who have just gotten passed. So right now, the Mets only have the Pirates, Padres ahead of them before they get to the Cardinals, who right now have the 3rd wild card spot.
And I'm sorry, the Mets are better than the Pirates.
Yeah, probably, and they've shown that they're better than the Padres because they swept them. So and then it comes down to the Cardinals. The point is they are right there.
I think the Mets are better than the Cardinals, too.
A half game out of a playoff spot. So for sure, Michael, when we had the conversation, this was a team, when we first started having it, they were 11 games under. I think specifically when we were talking about it the last time you were on, they were 8 games under 500. I'm sorry, I didn't think they were a very good team, but now you rattle off 7 in a row and things are starting to come together. And this Alvarez thing, Michael, is the real reason. Remember when they called him up 2 years ago at the end of the year, they called him up for his bat. They didn't think his catching was ready. Now his catching, take a look at the earned run average of the pitchers when he catches. They're almost 2.5 runs better than any other catcher. Now, they didn't have great catchers when Alvarez was hurt. But what are they, 18-1 when he catches games? I mean, this is really something now. So there are reasons why this team has been able to turn things around. So now the question becomes, Michael, because it was, are you buyers or are you sellers? Now the question is, all right, you're not sellers, but are you necessarily buyers? Or
I think if you're right there, you're buyers to an extent.
To an extent,
with
yes.
kind of a governor on you. You don't give up your Jet Williams. You don't give up your best prospects, but you make trades on the margins that will make you better.
See, because you don't want to start in really endangering the future for what still could end up being maybe not Fugazi in the sense of making the playoffs, but Fugazi of thinking that you're going to be the Diamondbacks and going to the World Series. Now, I guess anything can happen once you get to the playoffs, but again, you've got to be very, very careful.
And especially if Senga gets healthy.
Right, you've got to be very, very careful. But again, things can change. Who knows what? Because, Dan brought this up on Monday. They had the same record on Monday that they had last year at this time. And then they actually had a 6-game winning streak in July last year. It still ended up falling apart. And I gave you the stat yesterday on how it's been up and down with this team. 0-5, then the best record in baseball. Then 10-24, then the best record in baseball. So they've been up and down. So there could be another slide coming. But right now, until that happens, you ride this out. And if we get to the deadline and they're in this situation, then I'm certainly not going to be selling. And then we'll see if you can strategically buy.
So not only 7 in a row, they're 13-4 last 17 games. That's the best in Major League Baseball over that span. And most importantly, Don, you're on board that it's me, right?
No,
Since I announced the game in London.
What I am, my official statement.
Again,
my official statement is that you are as responsible as Grimace.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Okay.
That's all I need.